I'm Danny Ramos, and welcome to Hispanic Speak Out TV. Today, we're having a discussion with Emily Bonilla. She's a commissioner. How are you, Emily?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
And what district are you from?
District 5 of Orange County.
Okay, and you have another year to go, right? At least
Yes.
Another year?
Until
Okay.
December 2020.
And when commissioners are finished, how many years are you allowed to serve?
8 years total.
How many terms have you had?
2.
2. So what do you do with your life when you term out?
That's a good question.
It's really a good question, because what happens to all these commissioners that have gone on to the Wild Blue Yonder? You know, what do you have a plan, or do you have thoughts about what you're going to be doing afterwards?
No, I've been thinking about it a lot. I gave up my career for this position, so it feels like it's going to start all my career, or whatever I decide to do, like I'm going to start all over again.
And what was that career?
It was business consultant.
Okay.
I really have not decided, and it's been a tough decision, because when you have too many options, too many choices, it makes the decision even harder.
I know. Do you think you're going to stay in government? Do you think that, there's always positions available for people with the experience of 8 years of dealing with the situations that you've dealt with, which have been complicated, for funding and community and all of that. Do you think you might consider going back into government, in a position in government?
I am not sure, but I know everyone's telling me to run for Orange County Mayor in 2026.
Really?
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How do you feel about that?
I think it really depends on how the Charter Review Commission goes, because I know they're looking at restructuring the Orange County government. So it really depends on what direction that goes into.
But what is the definition of restructuring? What's the concept that they're going towards?
I don't know. They're looking at all the different ways to structure the government. They're looking at, moving the mayor position out from the board, so it's not a voting position, so it's more just executive.
I could never understand, and I knew that there were conflicts with the that I thought. I didn't know what the legal position was, but when they were doing the rent evaluations and putting a moratorium on increasing rents, the mayor was allowed to vote on that, right? I always found that as a conflict of interest, because it was an election year and politicians or elected officials were getting money from different sources. And I found out, or I looked up and I saw that there was money being given to people who were voting on the very subject of apartments. So they were taking money to go into their campaign from people that they had to vote either support or not support. And in that particular case, I don't want to say that right now, but I saw it as a conflict of interest. Do you believe that a mayor should be able to vote?
Well, I'll just tell you a story.
Good. I want to hear a story.
I first brought up the rent stabilization in 2020, I believe it was, 2019. I can't remember the year now. Anyways, when it had actually moved forward, that was not the first time I brought it up.
Yeah.
The first time I brought it up, I was actually running for re-election. And the Real Estate Association, right, the local one, they were doing interviews with candidates to decide whether they're going to endorse them or not. Well, it looked like they were going in my direction until I brought up the rent stabilization, and then they went ahead and endorsed somebody else. So that endorsement also comes with campaign money.
Right.
So donations. So yes, they're very influential. I was even told to drop it,
By who?
I'm not going to say
Okay,
who.
all right. Was it an elected official, or was it?
No, it was not.
Okay, so it was an association or a business entity.
Yes.
Okay.
And, being told that I'm going to lose endorsements, I'm going to lose campaign donations, that's going to look bad on me. I may not win re-election. And I was like, I'm going to continue doing what's right, you know? And so I kept pushing for it. And then brought it up again, because that time the board it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the second time I brought it up, I had more support from some community organizations, and it pushed forward. But yeah, they are very influential. They it's not only the Real Estate Association, it's the Apartments Association as well. It's the GOBA, Greater Orlando Builders Association. they're the top three when it comes to anything with development and rents and stuff.
Sure,
like
it involves
that.
construction companies, everybody.
Yeah, and the money that comes from them in campaigns is enormous.
Mm-hmm.
You could basically fund your entire campaign at maybe like $300,000 with just the support of just those three organizations,
Mm-hmm.
and not have to go outside for any other money.
So you endeared them really well.
Look,
It was,
I mean, I'm not out to make any enemies or upset anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just out to do what's right for my community and the people I represent.
Yeah.
And if I upset some people along the way, then
Well, it's gotta
maybe they
be.
should look at their morals.
So how did that whole thing end up finally? What was the outcome of that war that happened between the real estate people and rent stabilization and all of that? Where did that fall?
Oh, I think they're.
Is that still up in the air? Is that still fighting, or
Yeah,
is it?
it's still being decided by the courts. They
Okay.
decided to sue the county for pushing the ordinance forward.
Okay, so the ordinance is now enacted, or
It is
not?
not because we were preempted by the state.
Okay, what does preempted by the state mean?
So after we had pushed everything forward, those organizations decided to go ahead and lobby Tallahassee to make sure that this wouldn't happen, either our county or any other county, and lobbied for the state legislators
Mhm.
to put into law that we're not able to do any rent stabilization whatsoever.
Okay, so did that actually go into law?
Yes, it did.
It did. So rent stabilization is a dead issue.
It's a dead issue in Florida
Okay.
until
And what elected official headed that up in Tallahassee? Is there a group, or was it Democrat? Was it Republican? Who was the person, if you don't mind my asking, that led that charge? Because there's always somebody that leads the charge in Tallahassee. They got to find somebody to wave the flag for them.
Yeah, I do not know.
Mhm.
But from what I was being told by a lot of Republicans I do know who are state legislators there, is that the Speaker of the House was leading the agenda
Okay.
on, what bills.
And who was that?
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
who was
well,
it?
we'll look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay, we'll look it up. It's a shame because, it was a good fight and it was valid because a lot of people are being displaced, and I was kind of like really, really upset about what was being done against poor people and people that have need for a place to live. They're being ejected, So I thought that was very important, that go through, but unfortunately it did not go through. So you think that going forward, are you going to really, what is your inside gut feeling of what you're going to do? Are you going to run for mayor of Orange County? You're going to have a lot of support if you decide to do it.
Yes, I do know.
There's a lot of
that.
people-
I mean, I've been, a lot of people are telling me that they want me to be the next mayor. And,
So why don't you want to do it? Why don't you say yes?
Well, I've served for 8 years.
Yeah, but that was different. This is something that's the next level up where you
Yeah.
could really make change and you could really be a powerful instrument for the people who don't have representation.
But that's the thing, I want to make sure that what I do decide to do is something that is going to have a huge impact.
How can you not have a huge impact if you're mayor of Orange County?
Well, look at the associations. It seems like they have more impact and influence than
Yeah,
the
but they
mayor
also
does.
had the mayor on their side. Was that not true?
Because of all the donations.
Okay, so you can say no,
Uh-huh.
and that you'll have a powerful platform with people that from the community. You've always had that anyway.
Well, and you see what you just said right now is about the powerful platform from the community. The people have way more power than these associations. They just don't know it, and they don't know how to use it. So,
But they need leadership for
they
that.
do, but I won't be able to provide that leadership as mayor as maybe I could as a community advocate.
Yeah.
Someone who's out there
Why couldn't
who's
you?
been on the other side and knows how to
Why
help
couldn't you
people.
provide that as mayor? Why?
Oh,
Why could not you steer?
Yeah, I tried
you
to
know?
do that as commissioner.
Yeah,
And
but commissioner's not mayor.
It's hard.
I know it's hard.
Yeah.
Nothing good is easy. I've been around for a long time, and I can tell you, nothing that's really worthwhile is easy to do. There's equal force on pushback.
Yeah.
Always, and sometimes it's evil pushback.
But I think as an elected official, one of my challenges in trying to get community engaged and involved is that they don't trust elected officials.
But people trust you.
A lot do, but there are still a lot who don't.
They're not, because they're on the opposite side of the fence, which is part of politics.
Well, no, there's a lot. The majority of the community and the voters out there do not really care about Democrat versus Republican. They care about what's affecting their everyday lives. And what they see is government screwing them over at every turn. So that's why they don't trust government, and you try to
but that's why people like you
they put up this wall.
But that's why people like you got to stay in the game, because that trust has to come back. Right now, for example, if
That's another good point. I can't do that alone.
You're not alone. You're not alone. If you say, "Come help me," there's people that you will not even expect that will stand up. You know, but you don't know until you go out. You have to jump into the pool. You know what I mean? You have to take the jump.
Yeah.
But it's you're right. Good old boy games. And all that stuff is prevalent in Central Florida. I've looked at the stats on NPAs now, and I was astounded of the number of people that have shifted from parties to NPAs. In the state of Florida, for example, one of the numbers, like the Democrats have 5,200,000, let's say, 5,200,000 registered voters. NPA have 4 million. Can you imagine 4 million? That means that the NPAs are going to influence all the final elections. And in some districts, NPAs actually outnumber Republicans and Democrats. So there's a big move for NPAs, to attract that market. Nobody's really doing that except for me. I'm doing something with the NPAs right now that I'm launching. But it's going to be, I'm launching a newsletter called NPA News, which is directed to all the NPAs in the state. And it's just informative. It's just going to be informative. But I think that, I would hate to see people like you and other people be pushed away from politics, because that's the only thing that could save the country. And it happens on a local level. You know what I mean? I know the fights that you've been in, and for you to say no, it's like, come on, Emily, let's do it.
Well, I also have to think about my personal life as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And my kids. I sacrificed.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids.
Okay, how old?
16 and 24.
Oh, Jesus! You got a 24-year-old? Wow.
I'm a lot older than that.
Well, I would like to see you run for mayor of Orange County, and I'm sure there are so many people that would like that also. And a lot of NPAs, the NPAs are tired of it. And I don't know what the numbers are for the NPAs in Orange County. I know it's substantial, but I'll look it up because I know we have it in a binder, and I'm going to send you the number of NPAs. But I think that you shouldn't give up you have done so much work in the community. And and of course, it's great to give advice and hindsight, right? You're a genius when you have hindsight. But I would encourage you not to walk away, not to. If you have that opportunity, go for it, and change everything, change the lives of people.
Well, I will never completely walk away. But one thing I do want to make sure I do is leave an arena of people who can step up.
Yeah.
And take over, because like I said, I can't do this by myself. There needs to be more of me.
So that's true. People who think like you do, and they're out there.
Yeah,
they're really, really out there. And again, that's why people are jumping out of the parties, and the NPAs are so big, because people are tired of the backroom politics, and the under the table politics, which I have seen things that are totally illegal going on in Central Florida since I've been here. And, nobody does anything about it. People are afraid to do anything about it. And, you're in a position that you should really, I think you should stay. I think you should go for it. But again, you got family considerations. Okay? Listen, we're out of time. It's great having you. Thank you so much for coming down. She should run for Orange County Mayor. Okay?
I'm not ruling it out.
Good. This is Danny Ramos on Hispanic Speak Out. You can view this. We'll send you an email, and you can view it on TV. We'll talk to you next week about other issues. Thank you.